The following audio is an excerpt from episode 46 of RoundelTable, recorded March 15th, 2011. RoundelTable is a production of the Wheelspin Network. For full details about this show, visit RoundelTable.com. All right, Matt, calling you right now.
Did I ever tell you how much I love Matt Russell?
Yeah, listen, you.
Here I am.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Oh, whoops. I got the wrong number. I'm taking another call. Hang on, let me call you back.
Okay.
No, wait. Sorry. Hang on. I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're on RoundelTable for the record.
Calls. I apologize.
No problem.
All right. Well, you guys are on fire tonight, huh?
Well, we're fired up. Josh is pushing my buttons.
Yeah, this is fun. So, yeah, I'm just minding my own business, making my salad, and thinking it's been a great day, and it's getting late. I better hurry up and eat, before it gets late. I'll try to catch the end of your show, and while I'm doing that, I'm getting everything ready for dinner, and then I hear this. And, man, you guys are unbelievable. So, yeah, I couldn't resist. I had to jump online. I had to give you a call. So you're telling me that you've made all of these you have your position here. Okay, that's clear. You've made it brilliantly clear. But you haven't driven the car. Yeah, you haven't driven the car yet. And
now,
BMW is about driving, so I'm confused. Fill me in.
And this is what I was saying earlier, and I said this before you were able to tune in, so I'll reiterate it. It's not. I don't care how good the car is. I don't care if it drives well. I don't care if it sets an awesome lap time. I don't care if it outhandles an M3 or an M5 or any of these things. It's inappropriate. And I'm all about pushing the envelope, but this is not pushing the envelope. This is building a car that's at a ridiculous price point, outside of most people's price range, and outside of what most people would want to spend on something like this, for a short-term demand that simply is a proof of concept for something that doesn't make sense. It's like I said, it's the dirty, gross porn of the lineup, in my opinion.
I can't touch the porn example, but I heard you try to explain why it doesn't make sense, but you got lost right when you tried to explain why it doesn't make sense. So try again for me.
Okay. Look, the reason I'm making the porn analogy is that old court case where the judge said, I can't define exactly what it is. That's the problem.
When I see it.
Exactly. That's the thing. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's what it is. That's what it is for me. That's my problem. It's MSUVs are I can't exactly put into words what my objection is, but I know it's wrong.
So how come the MSUV in your mind does not work, but I'm assuming the M5 Touring does work?
But there's a very good reason for that. The M Touring is still, in large part, a car. It's low to the ground. It's got the same stance as a car. It has a lot of the same elements as a sedan. It just has a hatch instead of a rear window that slopes into a trunk. And it weighs a little more. But it's still got a lot of the same characteristics as a car. The X Series are SUVs completely. They're trucks.
But the world is kind of voted with their wallets that SUVs are easier to live with than wagons, right? The world decided this for us.
I wouldn't say the world has. I know that in America that's very popular, and I know that in certain parts of the world
SUVs
trucks are popular.
In all of the markets worldwide that can afford them.
But are they buying $120,000 SUVs?
Absolutely. The demand for the X6M and the X5M is actually greater in other markets outside of the U.S. that I will not name, in a number of key markets where we're actually having to fight with some of our colleagues in other markets to get production for these vehicles. Demand, of course, for them is high here, but it's as high in a number of other, let's say, emerging markets where maybe the economy will support them, and oil is a little bit more affordable, and without naming names of countries or markets. But it's a very realistic truth that the demand for these vehicles is very high, and it's not just ours. It's SUVs of all different types and different brands and different countries of origin. But in the U.S., the point I was trying to make was that the global markets have voted on SUVs, and if you're going to sell SUVs, why not try to make one as dynamically fantastic as possible? And that is the mission of BMW in a more focused way of putting it, M. And what they did, of course, as you know, was they benchmarked the performance of the M3 in order to build the X5M and the X6M. They successfully benchmarked the performance of the M3. So we have now two light trucks that you can haul your family around, you can tow your boat with or your race car, and yet you don't have to give up any of the performance of the M3 when you drive those vehicles. In my eyes, that's an amazing proposition. It's an amazing product offering. It's amazing.
From a technical standpoint, I see where you're coming from, and you've actually helped me to formulate some of my additional objections. One of which is not aimed specifically at the X Series M vehicles, but in the high performance SUV segment in general, which is, I mean, SUVs were born out of the idea that they go places where normal road cars don't, right? They were born out of off-roader vehicles like the Land Rover and the Humvee and vehicles like that. That's where the SUVs came from, and they got bastardized into road-going vehicles for the family hauling purpose. And now it's come full circle to the point where they're so far removed from what they originally were that now we're talking about SUVs that are competing with track sedans. I mean, it's
what a wonderful world we live in.
Though.
I would, 12 times out of 10, I'd rather drive the SUV that's good on the street than the one that's good off-road, because I'm probably going to be driving it on the street. I agree with you. I don't deny where the roots of SUVs are. The roots are in off-road vehicles, but those roots have long since expired. I mean, the roots are obsolete. That's not the role that the consumer wants the vehicle for. So if the consumer wants the vehicle for 99% on-road use, then you'd be a fool as a company not to build the vehicle for that use. So we make an SUV that has 8 inches ground clearance, it has an elevated seating position, and it could go, I mean, our regular X5 is actually tremendous on what we call our other roads course, but as you know, if you've seen the Performance Center, it's actually a true off-road course.
Right, and I know that. And
in the chassis.
And I've mentioned I don't have an objection with the X Series in general. That's not where my objection is coming from. My objection is squarely aimed at the X5M and the X6M. M SUVs is my problem.
But we still haven't reached why.
The issue that the M division. See, the thing is, to me, the M division represents you take the sedans, you take the cars that are however I say this, I know it's going to get twisted around, but which comes back to my I can't define it, but I know it when I see it, porn analogy. But I'm getting here. But the M division, I mean, think about the history. It's the E30 M3. I mean, iconic, God's chariot. The E46 M3, probably the next best one in a lot of people's minds. The E39 M5. These are cars that conjure up so much history and emotion and heritage attached to themselves and everything that they represent with the way that BMW has built cars. And now you're going to take a grocery getter and throw a turbo V8 in it and call it an M car. I mean, it just I know it can compete.
That does no justice to the amount of chassis development that went into this vehicle.
And I know it can compete, but that's the impression I get. And I know technically it is just as capable, if not more so, than the other M cars.
Guys, a 5 Series sedan lives the role of a grocery getter on the street in 100% of the people's lives who buy it.
I know that.
Including
Agreed.
the M5. Everybody uses the car as a grocery getter. That's the role. It's about this reserve capacity.
So why not use the car designed for the job? Why not have a car designed for... Why not, if you're going to be driving around on the road, on pavement, going to and from soccer practice and work and the grocery store, why not have the car that's designed for that? Use the sedan on the road, and when you need to go off-roading, whatever, use an SUV.
Because you use an SUV for a lot more things than just off-roading. You use it for Home Depot runs. You use it for towing your race car, for towing your boat, for towing your jet skis. You use it to go to your weekend getaway. You use it for a million things that a sedan would not be suitable for. And that's the point. Again, this is consumer-driven, but if you're going to be the consumer who can afford one of these vehicles, you want the vehicle that is, I mean, if you're a driver, especially if you're an M-car driver, You want the vehicle that is dynamically the finest vehicle you can possibly buy. And that is the reason we build this vehicle, because the consumers who want to stay with BMW and want to stay with M, they want this vehicle. It's perfectly suitable for them. And it allows them to do all the things that you can't do with a sedan, or a coupe for that matter.
I see those points, and all of that makes sense. I'm not denying any of that. I still can't live with I still can't come to terms with it. It comes back to my...
In typical BMW fashion, Christian, we have to have a drive. We have to have a drive off. I have to get you behind the wheel of the vehicle, because I think you will find a fresh understanding for it. Most people are shocked when they drive it. In fact, it's my favorite vehicle to demonstrate for that very reason. And we got to get you behind the wheel. You have to experience it, and I think then things begin to click a little bit better. So I'll see if I can maybe set that up for you here in the coming months. We'll see if we can get you behind the wheel of one, and then you have to promise to come back and be completely honest and share what you thought about it.
Matt, I will be very honest. And I don't know if you heard when we went to JMK BMW last year with Manny Antunes, and I drove the 5 Series GT, which I had been railing against, and I still am not fully sold on it. But when I went and drove it, I was very objective about it, and I highlighted a whole bunch of positive points about it that I had not considered earlier. So I am fully willing to go into it with the mindset that I might have a change of heart on it. I'm totally open to that, and I want to be fair to it. I do. I still think I'm going to have more trouble, and I'm perfectly honest here, I'll have more trouble coming to terms with the idea of the car, of the X6M or the X55 than I am with the 5 GT. But that said, I am totally open to the idea that I will have a change of heart.
You know, a tremendous number of people who buy BMWs, in fact, the vast, vast majority, will drive them every single day. They will daily drive them all year round, and that's something you have to keep in mind. I mean, even a tremendous number of 1 Series M Coupe buyers are planning to daily drive the car all year round.
I certainly would if I had one.
The Z4 is the only car that is commonly purchased as a car that sits and waits for the weekend. And even a lot of Z4s now with the hardtop get driven year-round. But that's, usually a 2-seat Roadster is the one that gets left in the garage first. And when you have to live from day to day. So it's something you have to keep in mind when we design M products, and Dr. Ziegler has emphasized this recently, the whole purpose of an M car is to have the dual personality. It can be your grocery getter. In fact, it can be the best grocery getter in the world, but it also can be a complete racehorse on the racetrack when the time is right. And that philosophy was applied in equal measure to the light truck, to the SAV M vehicles as well. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of me promising. We've just got to get you behind the wheel. You've got to give it a try. I'm going to go eat my salad now, but thank you for having me on, as always.
Matt, it's always great to talk with you.
A lot of fun.
It's always fun to have you on. You're always welcome here.
Likewise. Talk to you guys soon, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great week, guys.
You too, Matt.
Thanks.